Clock's running. Don't waste it.
We are not here to unleash chaos. We are here to define it.
The final hour won't be born.
Good morning. It'll be nice to have lunch with another couple, like normal people.
That's us. Normal people.
What are you doing after this?
How you doing in there? This isn't a vacation. You're working a mark.
I'm on standby.
Fine, fine. Take care. Mwah.
Maybe they're both working for Alarum.
They want to tear down the global intelligence network. Get me a list of the closest arbiters.
I'm open for business.
We have a location on Archibald.
Did you take anything?
Where are you?
I think I officially jinxed the trip.
Stay alive.
I need help. My wife's at the resort. He's gonna kill us all.
How do you know she's not playing you? Did she join Alarum? This is an AA-12. Pick up one of these.
Good to work with you again.
Yeah.
Be ready for disaster. You can bring your army, you can bring it all. You're trying to defeat me, but there's no way I can fall in the end.
Inflict as much damage as you can.
Ever use a frag grenade?
I am unstoppable. I am unstoppable.
Two Americans against all your men. Go, go, go!
You can bring your army, trying to defeat me, but there's no way I can fall. I am unstoppable. I am unstoppable.
The only flaw with this weapon is it makes everything too easy.
Thank you. Hi, Michael. How you doing?
How you doing? Nice to
Good.
meet you. You look
Nice
like you
to
got
meet
all-
you.
you looks like you got-
First of all, I just wanted to say that I liked the Force of Nature that you did with Mel Gibson a couple years back. So super excited to talk to you because now we're talking about you working with Sylvester Stallone and Alarum. I watched it yesterday, loved it. I want you to talk about the title. You know, because the definition of it, and like, where did you guys come up with the title for the movie?
You know, it's an Irish term,
Yep.
which means it's a call to arms, and it's another way of having a Secret Service type. You're going to have to name your gang of spies something, right? You're rogue spies. And I felt, well, the writer felt, because he was the one who did this, that Alarum, while it was more like an alarm, like it had a little different spin to it. And the idea is, a lot of people don't know what the word is, and sometimes that's risky. But in terms of spy movies, I think we could probably get away with it.
Yeah, I was like, because like I think that it's going to work in your favor because people are going to be like, "Ooh, what is this?" And plus, you know, they see the poster and everything. So I think it's automatically going to draw people to it.
Yeah.
Now, talk about the cast. Now, of course, Stallone's in it. And Scott Eastwood. You got Luke Cage, Mike Colter. You got Willa Fitzgerald, who's in Reacher. Talk about assembling such a great cast for this movie.
Scott, I was talking to about a year before we shot this, maybe a little longer. And Stallone I've known for about 20 years, maybe a little longer. And we had projects that we wanted to do, and we've kept in touch throughout the years. So it was the perfect storm to get those two together. And then Willa, I've always, been a fan of Willa's, and she's just super sharp. She's at the top of her game. She's the actor that you just don't have to whisper a lot of things to. She's a lot of fun she's unique because you watch her, she'll be standing next to you and then she'll go in front of the camera and just nail it. Just really, like, scientifically, she's just great. And Mike, what can you say about Mike? He's just a big guy. And smart. He's very, it's like working with an athlete, you know.
Yeah. So now in terms of the action sequence, because of course, I like to talk about doing the action and everything. Did you have like a vision? Because there's some pretty cool scenes, one in particular that I want to talk to in a second, but talk about like, crafting like the action sequence. Because when you put Sylvester Stallone in it, you want him to do something, and fans will love that. Yes, he does. So,
You know, the idea is that safety comes first. So you
yep.
throw your dream scenarios out there. You want to blow up everything. You want to have cars roll over. You want 25 motorbikes. You want it to be as everything's big and better. So once you get through the safety protocol, you have to render it down to something that these guys all feel good doing, and they've all done it. And so they also bring a lot of their knowledge to the package, which is great. I mean, Scott's doing a lot of action pictures, so he's really smart about how to do these things. He's when he can't fulfill some of the stunts, he's got a guy that helps him figure it out, which is great.
Now, the one sequence in particular that I loved is when Stallone and Eastwood, like, they're together.
Yeah.
And again, you don't like who's on the same side. Is there's double crosses. There's all kinds of good stuff going on. But there's the sequence where they have the AA-12 automatic shotguns. Was that a nudge to Expendables, or was I just, as an action fan, just reaching for
Yeah,
something?
there's something. It's like Cash and Tango, right? There's all
Yes.
these side. There's when you have chemistry like that, it's not hard to draw a short line to, let's say, some of the 80s pictures.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
So
a
yeah,
lot of
because that scene in particular, like, and then like with Mike Colter, you got him on one side, them two on the other side. Then of course things happen. I don't want to give things away, but let's talk about it. Feels like there's a world building that you're doing with this, because again, I don't want to give the ending away, but there's things that are just leaves the audience with like, type of thing.
well, when you get the genre of spy thriller, the idea is you don't know who anybody is, and that's the fun of it, right? You you have a couple that are married, they're married spies. Are they maybe they're married to be spies? You have no idea. And that's really the fun to explore. And then you find out that they really have each other's back at the end. Spy movies get to do that.
Yeah. So is there like is this like a world that you want to explore? Because like I said, again, I don't want to give the ending away, but it's like there looks like there's a lot more than could go on, like, with these characters. Like, oh, we're the ones that survive, of course.
Yeah. The idea that we set up this triptych, and you have really wonderful actors, it would be fun to explore farther, because this was just a piece of their world. They're from an organization called Alarum, and sometimes you want to figure out who Alarum is.
Right. Now, talk about filming. Now, where was this film? Did you have any, like, obstacles? Because it's snowing at some points. It looks like there were some weather elements involved. Did you run into any like situations like filming?
It was Ohio, and we
I'm
were
from Ohio.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a few miles from Miami University,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is the other Miami University.
Right. Right.
So it was a few miles from there, and when we found that lodge, it looked European to us, and we said, I don't even think you could find that in Europe. So
It
let's get
does. I know. I thought you filmed it overseas or something. So you
yeah,
got me. Yeah.
yeah. So we got it, and at that time of year, which would be February, I believe, the sporadic nature of snowing and freezing, and it felt probably like Poland at that time, which is the weather's going to change quite a bit. Let's not try and chase the weather. Let's just see what happens, during a scene where she's on the phone, it starts to snow.
Right.
You know?
That, like, because I'm from Northeast Ohio, so that's awesome that you felt.
Yeah,
So that even draws, I mean, more of a connection to it. So,
yeah, yeah. It was
because I
fascinating.
literally thought that, like, hey, this is some place in like Eastern Europe or something that you guys went to. So kudos on
Um,
that.
we did a pretty good job.
Yeah. So now, in terms of genres, like, because going through your filmography, you've done a lot of like all types of stuff. Like, do you gravitate like now? You know, like you've done Force of Nature, you've done Alarum, you know, in terms of action, but you've also done a whole bunch of other stuff. Is
Yeah.
there a genre that you gravitate toward, or are you just a fan of it all? You're just like, as long as I love the script, who I'm working with, I'm in.
Yeah. I'm a fan of movies. There's a boutique situation when I work with my brother. There's going to be a certain type of movie that we make. We do tend to push genres. We push genres, push the boundaries on a few genres, but I felt to have a career is to enjoy the movies that we all enjoyed, and they're all different. So let's try and make different movie or what we're attracted to. It's a harder road when you can't be pinned down to something. However, it's fulfilling because you get to try to do an action picture next to let's say, an art movie next to a horror movie. I probably am, I'm probably getting more pleasure than anybody else out of that.
Now, in terms of like, I feel like I don't like to call it because they call them direct to video movies, which I hate that term because it like, and plus they get limited theatrical releases. It's like I hate that term. But talk about these types of movies like that they're doing now, because I'm a fan. I'm an old school fan. I'm 52,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm from the old days. These movies, I feel like what you're doing with Alarm and stuff, they're keeping that feel alive of the 80s, and of course you got Stallone in it, which helps, but. I think these movies are really helping keep that vibe alive of when I was growing up.
Yeah, you're correct. That's why I picked these genres because they remind me of the movies of the 80s and the idea that we can explore things that have been done. That's great. And sometimes get to use actors from that period of time. Passing the torch from Stallone to Eastwood is great. It's a lot of fun in that genre.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you because that's exactly like that's kind of cool because you got Sylvester Stallone, then you got the next generation Eastwood, which I don't want to, he's his own person, But did he have any cool stories about his father, like on the set? Like, does he talk about his dad at all? I'm always curious.
He'll answer questions for sure.
Yeah.
He's that's a that's a big person to be your father.
Yes. Yes.
Big person to be your father. Scott handles himself as such a pro, and if that comes from his father, then we're working with the next generation of a really good actor. He works really hard. He's sharp. He's very sharp to work with. I really enjoyed collaborating with him.
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of him being the next generation, you got the old school, you got the new school. So, what do you want people like watching this movie? Like, I know what I got out of it, and I knew exactly when I watched the trailer, it was in my wheelhouse. Talk about a mainstream audience, like somebody that's not like, as essentially a fan of these types of movies. What do you want them to get out of a movie like this?
Just to be entertained, to go in there with an open mind and say, I don't watch these movies. Maybe they're more male eccentric. Sometimes they are. That you can also enjoy watching Willa Fitzgerald and Scott's relationship, which is very universal. It's a marriage. They just happen to be spies. So there's something in there for everybody. It's not a typical action film where it's slayed to one gender or the other because of their marriage. So I feel like it's a good date movie, right?
There you go. Now, real quick, last question because I got to wrap up. But that brings me back to Willa because I wanted to ask you about her dynamic with all the, you got Luke Cage and Rambo and Eastwood. Talk about her dynamic and because she's just as tough as the guys are. Real quick.
Oh, she's probably tougher than every guy.
Yeah.
She's tougher. She's tougher than every guy. She can whip everybody's butt. She's that's a real joy when you get to work with an actor of her caliber because she's just mathematically perfect. The way she delivers lines, the way she gets in front of the camera, it's a joy for me.
Absolutely. Well, the movie comes out next Friday, the 17th. I'm excited for people to see it. Like I said, for fans of Stallone that want to see him kick some ass, he does this. You give him the opportunity. You got Eastwood, you got Mike Colter. A great throwback. I think it's a great throwback spy thriller, action thriller. Kudos to you, sir. And if you are able to build on to this, much to Sex of the Future, hopefully I get to talk to you in the future if it happens.
Yeah. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you watching and, being a film enthusiast, that's just so great for us. And to connect like this is great.
Absolutely. I love talking to you guys, like watching these movies. Be like, hey, I talked to the director. I talked to that guy. It's awesome. And I can't thank you enough for your time. Good luck with the movie. Good luck with the rest of the interviews that you have. And hopefully we get to talk in the future, sir.
All right. Keep the faith.
All right.
This
Thank
will-
you, sir. Have a good one. Yep.